Hello children, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to do English prose. Lesson name is Androclus and the Lion. Long, long ago, there lived a kind, gentle and courteous man called Androclus. But he had a very cruel master. In those days, kings, nobles and other wealthy men used poor people as their slaves. Androclus was a slave. The slaves were forced to work for their masters. They had to do what their masters told them. They had no freedom, no rights. Even when they were unhappy with their master, they could not leave him. They were bound by law to obey their master, however wicked he might be. Androclus did not like his heartless, wicked master. His master starved his slaves and often whipped them. Androclus felt that even death was better than serving such a master. He kept looking out for a good opportunity. At the first chance he got, he escaped from the clutches of his cruel master. Now, although Androclus had thus run away, he was not a coward. He took shelter in a forest. He was not afraid of the wild beasts that roamed the forest. He did not mind that he had no roof over his head. He was happy that he was free as a bird to go wherever he wished. One day he was wandering in the forest. He suddenly came face to face with a lion. His first reaction was to turn and flee. But then he saw that the lion had not moved on seeing him. It neither growled nor roared. In fact, it looked at him piteously, as if it was in a great pain. Androclus paused. Then he moved very cautiously towards the lion. Step by step, the lion moaned and whimpered. "Please help me," its eyes seemed to say. When Androclus drew near, the lion lowered its head and began to lick its paw. Then Androclus saw that the lion's paw was wounded, sore, and swollen. On a closer look, Androclus noticed that a big thorn had pierced one of the lion's toes. "So this is the cause of the lion's distress," thought Androclus. Summoning up all the courage, Androclus stretched his hand slowly towards the injured paw. He was afraid that the lion would attack him if he touched its swollen paw, but the lion seemed to understand his good intention. Androclus took the paw in his left hand. Deftly he pulled out the thorn. Then, tearing a piece of his own clothing, the kind man bound up the lion's injured paw. To his surprise and wonder, the lion then licked his arm as if to show gratitude. Androclus remained with the lion till it could walk again. He would hunt in the forest and share his food with the helpless beast. Every day he would clean and dress the lion's wound. Soon the lion was able to move about. Many times it followed Androclus wherever he went. In the meanwhile, Androclus' master had complained to the authorities that his slave Androclus had run away. Soldiers were sent in all directions to capture Androclus. They searched for him high and low, but couldn't find him. At last, they came to the forest where Androclus lived. It so happened that Androclus had gone out alone that day, while the lion rested near the cave. Both of them fell into the hands of the soldiers. The soldiers took them back to the city. They put Androclus in the chains in a prison. The lion was caged. In those days, people who were found to be guilty of a serious crime were fed to wild beasts as punishment. Running away from one's master was a very serious crime at that time. Therefore, Androclus too was to be thrown to the wild beasts. On the appointment day, the emperor arrived at the circus and took his place. The crowds cheered loudly. The trumpeters blew the trumpet, and Androclus was brought into the arena. His chains were unbound. He felt weak and dismayed. He was certain that this was the last day of his life. At the opposite end, a gate was raised and a ferocious lion was released into the arena. It had been kept hungry to make it more ferocious. Androclus was filled with fear, but he put up a brave front. The lion saw Androclus and rushed towards him, bounding and roaring. But suddenly it stopped in its tracks. Then it moved slowly forward. All its rag seemed to have melted. Androclus saw this too. Each friend recognized the other. To everyone's amazement, the lion bounded towards Androclus again, but when it reached him, it began to purr and rub its nose against him. Androclus hugged the lion. He wept with relief and joy. The audience, including the emperor, watched this tender sight in great wonder. People began to cheer Androclus and asked for his release. The emperor asked the Androclus to explain the lion's strange behavior. When he heard the whole story, the emperor was also moved by the gratitude and friendship between man and beast. He wondered that Androclus would be set free. He would no longer be a slave. When the emperor asked Androclus what other reward he would like, Androclus replied that he did not want anything from himself for himself, but he wanted the lion to be set free. The two friends went back to the forest to live a free life. Moral of the story is gratitude is the sign of noble souls. I hope you have understood this chapter well. Thank you.